Welcome to Life and Living. Welcome to the on-time God. No more delays. Now, God has subjected every matter under heaven to times and seasons. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. You talk about delay. When something, events or issues are not happening at the time they are supposed to happen. First, you must understand that time was a creation of God. Time was created on the fourth day of creation when God made the stars and made the heavens and made the sun and the moon. He commanded now they are to mark times and seasons. So every matter under heaven has a time allocation. Now let's look at God. Let's take a cue from God. For instance, it took him only 6 days now to create the existing universe and all that there is. It took him 3.5 years to fulfill and to bring to a conclusive end his life's ministry. It took him 3 days and 3 nights to get into hell, fight the devil and his hosts of demons, and to take from them the keys of death, the keys of hell, and to set the captives free. Now we see God being on time. And that's why I want us to begin to examine factors now that may begin to introduce delays into our lives. Now, we saw that in Numbers chapter 14, incidents of the children of Israel now who have been in the wilderness. By the way, God never told us now how long the journey was going to take from Egypt to the promised land. But from other parts of scripture, we could see that journey was meant to be something not more than 2 weeks. But when they came to Kadesh, the place where the spies were sent out to spy the land, they came with a negative report. 10 of the spies did not believe God. They could enter the land and possess the land. They said, oh, the land, there are giants there, and we cannot displace the giants to enter the land that God has promised us. And that we were told now caused a lot of disaffection in the camp of Israel. To the point that, well, many of them, after murmuring and complaining and wanting to get hold of their leaders, decided to get back again to Egypt. We saw that God was angry with the situation. And he came down with a pronouncement. 1 day shall become 1 year. And for the 40 days that were used in spying the land, the 40 days was as punishment for 40 more years in the wilderness. Now what we are saying is, every time we fail to believe God, every time we fail to take on the promises of God, the way He made them to us, we begin to create room for delay factors to come into our lives. Well, secondly, ignorance of who we are can also begin to introduce delay factors into the events of our lives. When God created the universe and everything that is in it, He told man, you'll be in charge. And that means also that time, being a created element, was also subject to man. In other words, you are the one to determine when it will happen. You are the one to determine when you'll get the job. You are the one to determine when you'll get the promotion. You are the one to determine when the project will be completed. Is that true? That is the word of the scripture. Man is Lord over time. And many times when we don't realize that, the devil will use the delay factor to keep us backward from the plans and the purposes of God. 3. Now, when we do not introduce light into whatever project we are doing, Jesus said, I'm the light of the world, and this light shines bright and is out to displace every darkness. Meaning that every time we bring God along into the project, into the decision, into whatsoever that we are choosing to do, the light of God now gives us illumination, and we are able to move with the speed of God. So let's get light. Habakkuk said, I want to watch what God will say to me. So he talks about a vision. You get a vision. Well, getting a vision alone does not get the job done. He said, now write it down. Make it plain. In other words, simplify the plan. The step-by-step procedure that you need to complete a project. Now, when these things are in place, they give you speed in accomplishment. We are saying today, delays are not of God. And how can we get delays out of our lives? Let's begin to introduce faith into whatsoever we are doing. Faith, don't forget, is a noun thing. Faith is now. And that spirit of faith now will enable us to take the steps that we need to take when we should take the steps. Well, I'm saying to us today, God has made us masters over time. I'm saying to us, get delays out of your life by believing God, by trusting His promises, by introducing the light of God. And you know, Jesus is the light. And by operating in the spirit of faith, this way we can ensure speedy accomplishment in whatsoever we are putting our hands upon to do. So, till our next broadcast, God bless you. I wish you speed in accomplishment. God bless you again, and bye.